Hi, I'm Chris Martin. I'm here in the museum, and today the topic is the custom shop. And actually, I'm going to pass this conversation off to my colleague, Fred Greene, and he's going to give you some more of the specifics about the custom shop as we know it today. So I took a look at Mike Longworth's original Martin Guitars, a History book, and in there's a little section that acknowledges that the formal custom shop was created in 1979. But I'm looking here in the museum, and I'm looking particularly at the first display. And that display showcases guitars built by my great-great-great-grandfather. And they're all custom guitars. None of them are the same. It wasn't until he moved to Pennsylvania when he realized, I need to create models and styles of guitars that can be sold through the retail chain. And so that's why we have D28s and D45s and 0018s and all the things that you're very familiar with. But over time, we realized that there were customers who wanted something a little special, a little different, a little unique. And sure, you could go back and buy an earlier Martin guitar, but if you wanted a brand new one with a guarantee, you could order one from us. And this is pretty funny. I was thinking about this. So we made an ad up. Dick Boak and I designed a guitar. It was a 00 42. And we used dark binding, and we mitered the binding around the heel and around the end piece. It was really elegant. Everywhere you looked on the guitar, it was really, really attractive. It had the old snowflake fingerboard, and we featured it in an ad. And the point of the ad was to tell you, the customer, that the custom shop is open, and please contact your dealer and order the guitar of your dreams. And what happened? People contacted the dealer and said, I want the guitar in that ad. And that wasn't the point of the ad, but we made a bunch of them. And so we needed to refine the message. And so today you can go on our website, you can use the custom configurator, you can look at all the different options. Now there is a caveat to this. If it's not going to work from a structural or a physical standpoint, we're not going to build the guitar. You know, if you're that wild and crazy and you want to speculate on something that's never been done before, it might be better to go to find an individual luthier, because we don't want to build something that's not going to work. And we've actually had people request things like that. We said, look, you can't put that neck on this body. Well, that's what I want. We're like, well, it won't work. The other thing is you pretty much have to accept the shapes that we make. And so what I always say is never refuse an order. Well, sure enough, several years ago, and may he rest in peace because he was a lover of the guitar and loved to show off his guitar collection, Scott Chinnery contacted us and said, I'd like you to make me a custom guitar. And we said, okay, Scott, what do you want? He said, well, I want a copy of a Larson's Brothers. We said, Scott, we're the Martin Guitar Company. He said, I know, but I want a Larson's Brothers guitar built by you, because I know it'll be very high quality, in their style. And we took a look at it. We said, Scott, we don't make a shape like this. And he said, okay, well, can you? And so we said, we'll get back to you. And of course, nobody wanted to do it. I said, wait a minute. What if he paid for the tooling and the fixturing? Oh, that's crazy. I said, yeah. And he's a crazy kind of guy. Let's run the numbers. So we ran the numbers. The guitar wasn't that expensive. The guitar itself was maybe, I don't know, $6,000. You may say that's a lot of money, but it was a fancy guitar. But what was expensive was the tooling and the fixturing, which cost about $45,000. So we said, Scott, the price of your guitar is $51,000. And he ordered it, and we built it for him. And there's a great photograph of me standing next to Scott Chinnery, and this Larson's brother was big, and Scott was big. So there's big Scott holding this big giant guitar. I looked like a little Lilliputian person next to him, and it was a really fun project. But those aren't the kind of projects we do every day. Today we have a formal custom shop out in the plant. When you take the factory tour, you look to your right, it's the first thing you see. We've got folks there that have been with us a long time, and/or they've learned very quickly how to make as much of a Martin guitar as is needed to put an entire custom guitar together. So go on the website. That's the best way to get a sense of what's available. A lot of it's historic stuff. You can make your version of some kind of a historic recreation of a guitar that, we didn't build back in the 30s, but you wished we had, and it'll be brand new. And I've never, ever heard a custom Martin guitar that didn't sound fabulous. Thanks.
Hi, my name's Fred Greene, and I'm the general manager of guitars at Martin Guitar, and I'm in charge of the custom shop. The custom shop, as we know it today, as Chris put it earlier, we've been building custom guitars at Martin for a long time. But it used to run where we would take custom orders and it would run through the normal factory. So normal factory workers would work on custom guitars, one-offs for people as they came through. It wasn't until about 7 years ago that we actually decided to put together a space dedicated to building custom guitars, in which we would take the best of the best factory workers and put those folks in that space. And that really came about when we decided to do the Authentic line, because primarily we were going to go ahead and use some old world techniques that we weren't using anymore, that had sort of been put aside. Things like high glue, T-bars, whether we decided to use bar frets or any kind of special build techniques that we weren't using in the more modern instruments. So we wanted to get back to building instruments the old-fashioned way. So we went ahead and decided to go ahead and put together a group of folks who would learn those different techniques and apply those to all of our custom guitars. And then the folks who worked in the standard line could focus on building standard guitars, and the folks who worked in the custom line could go ahead and build custom guitars. The custom consumer, the guy who wants a custom guitar, is really different. All Martin guitars get a lot of handwork and they're all special, but the custom guitars are probably a little more personal, because it allows you as a consumer to go ahead and come in and say, I need this special neck, I need a special neck profile, I have a special bracing pattern, I want to mix and match, I want to change things around, and create something that's very personal and very passionate to me as a guitar player, something that speaks with the voice that I can envision or the voice that I hear in my head. And I really want to get that out there, and I want the best of the best working on it. And that's something you maybe wouldn't send out. You want to make sure it's done correctly, and you want to make sure that the folks working on it feel as passionate about the product as you do. It's not another guitar coming down the line. It's literally has your name attached to the product. And we work off a custom spec sheet, and you know it's going to some individual who's out there waiting for this particular guitar. So if you ever happen to visit Martin and you get a chance when you're walking through the custom shop, you're going to see the folks in there doing things maybe a little bit differently than you might see through the rest of the factory. It's related to what we do in the rest of the factory, but you're going to see a little bit more handwork. I'll give you some examples. We have a fella named Dale Eckert who builds up the bodies for all of our custom guitars. He's been with us for 39 years, I think, somewhere along those lines. He's going to hand shape every single brace with a chisel. He's going to work all those personally. It's a one-guy operation building every body. It may be Aaron Van Wy who's cutting all the pearl for your custom guitar. He's going to hand cut whatever you want. If you have a drawing or a vision in your head that you want to see on your guitar, you send us that drawing. Aaron can go ahead and put that on a guitar. Chris Eckert's going to go ahead and do all the setup work on every single custom guitar. Now, could we mechanize some of these processes? Could we make them more modern? Yeah, we could. We absolutely could. But we choose not to in this particular case, because we feel like when someone orders a custom, they want that hands-on personal touch of an experienced craftsperson. I can always buy a CNC machine. We can afford any machine we want to afford in here to make these guitars, but that's really not what the custom shop's about. The custom shop is about who we are as a company. And who we are as a company is the way we built guitars in the 1800s, in the 1920s, the 1930s, the 1940s. That's really our DNA of who we are as a company. And the custom shop still does it that way. They are the connection to who Martin was and to who we are today. We choose to build guitars this way. We're not forced to build guitars this way. It's not a money-making venture for me to go ahead and have a lot of people doing a lot of handwork on product. I'd make a lot more money if I just had a robot do it, frankly. But that's not the point. It's not about the money. It's about creating a work of art that's going to live beyond us. And hopefully it will be in the hands of another artist, and they can take our work of art with their artistic vision and create even more works of art for people to enjoy forever. And that's a lot about what our products are, and that's really what the custom shop is all about.